Hey everybody, and welcome to the second episode of MCU Q&A, the show where we take your questions about the Marvel Cinematic Universe, about us at MCUExchange.com, or about anything else that's on your mind. I'm Doug Herring, this is Addie Hayes, and you might have noticed we are one man short today. We had to say goodbye to Jeremy. He is moving to LA, and we will miss him very much, but I'm sure we have not seen the last of him. So before we get started with these 5 questions we've picked out today, jump down into the comments below if you have a question that you want to see us answer. It can be about anything related to the Marvel Universe. Just ask it, and if we like it, you'll see it answered on this show next week. So that being said, we have 5 great questions. Addie, ready to get started?
I'm so ready.
All right, let's go. So our first question comes from ladydruyear, who asks, how do you feel about a Black Widow and Hawkeye origin movie or an animated origin movie?
An origin movie? I'm not so hot on the idea.
Yeah.
Marvel's kind of perfected the origin story, especially in the Netflix series, that it's not a lot of it, and we don't want a lot of it anymore.
When you say perfected, you mean they don't have to devote as much time?
Yeah. It's they perfected the time amount devoted to all these origin stories, that it's
Sure.
like they do it with flashbacks, it's not all done at once. So I don't want to go back with the characters I already know about, especially right now, spoiler alert, Black Widow is missing after Civil War. It's like a great time. I want to know what she's doing by herself because she's not with the Avengers. Like, this is a great time to just have her do a thing, and she has a standalone movie, you know?
I couldn't agree more. I'd love to see a Black Widow and Hawkeye movie, but move forward in the MCU. Don't move back. And I think Civil War had a great example of 2 origin stories that were done without having to take a lot of time to do an origin story. We saw Black Panther and Spiderman show up in the MCU for the first time. We didn't need an origin movie for them. We really don't need one for Black Widow or Hawkeye either, although I would like to see them do a team-up movie.
Yeah.
How do you feel about an animated movie?
Do
you think there's... I mean, the CW's doing Vixen, which is they did the animated thing and then she got brought into Arrow.
Yeah, for like an episode. And they like said something when she got introduced that like they already seemed like they knew her, and it confused me more because I don't watch the animated series.
Right.
So I think they shouldn't have the animated series like combined with the MCU.
So you don't think there's a place for an animated MCU property?
Yeah, not that I can think of right now.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, maybe if there was like a certain character that just like really, that's one thing that would be perfect for it, but nothing's really coming to me right now.
Well, there might be some characters that are better for animation, but
the
thing with the Marvel Universe specifically is that on Disney XD, they already have a Disney or a Marvel animated universe that is loosely based on the MCU, but it's pretty decent on its own. So I don't think it needs to be integrated into the MCU. I think, like you said, it has the opportunity to confuse people.
Yeah, and it, like especially since they already had the TV connected to it and to the movie universe, and it's not really even connected. So adding another thing that like is connected to the movie universe could just get to be too much.
Sure. All right. Our next question comes from Daniel Cordova, who asks, MCUExchange, who do you believe will die in Infinity War, if anyone at all?
I think Tony and or Cap will definitely die, and or Thor. People with trilogies that we've really known and have a character arc, I think will really shake up the whole movie universe if some of the original Avengers die, especially the 2 leaders.
Sure.
That's why I say Tony and Cap first rather than Thor, but with Valkyrie being introduced in the next movie, Thor dying would make sense, and then Valkyrie takes up the mantle.
Well, I mean, I agree with you. I think you have to look at 2 things. There's actors aging, actors' contracts, and actors' contracts expiring.
Yeah.
And that's like real world stuff. And then in universe, you don't want to kill characters that there's still a lot of stories to be told with them.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there are a lot of stories to be told with Tony Stark still, but there have already been enough where that character, we've seen him grow, we've seen him change, and to close his story would feel, I think, like a fitting finale.
Right.
And it wouldn't feel too abrupt. Like if they introduced Doctor Strange in 2016 and then killed him in 2018, I think that would be way too short for fans, and we wouldn't get a really good sense of the character. So yeah, I think they'll shake it up. They'll kill some of the original Avengers, and the new ones will sort of take over as the new team moving forward into Phase 4.
And probably Vision will die, maybe come back, just because since he has the stone in his head.
Definitely.
He'll definitely get very brutally wounded or killed.
Yeah, sure.
And then maybe brought back as 2.0. I definitely don't think Scarlet Witch will die. I think she will probably, seeing her react, since she's like the youngest out of all of them besides Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
But since she's gone through so much already, I feel like she'll definitely survive and have to like take up a really big step in the Avengers world.
Yeah, that would be cool if by the end of Infinity War she's the most senior Avenger. She's the one that's been on the team the longest.
I really like that idea, especially since she's always kind of felt like the sidekick to like Hawkeye in a way. So
I'd really like to see her and Captain Marvel take. I mean, we don't know what Captain Marvel will be like, but if she's anything like she is in the comics, I'd love to see her take a leadership role in the Avengers. But yeah, cool.
Cool.
So our next question comes from Jelmer De Baets. They ask, how would you react if superheroes were real? And if they were real, who would you love to meet in real life?
Oh, man. I mean, I would probably freak out. But it'd be so normal if they were real, I feel like, at this point.
Right.
Like, it'd get normal pretty fast, I feel like.
Yeah, people adjust to the status quo pretty quickly.
Yeah. I would want to be one.
You'd want to be a superhero? Yeah.
Absolutely.
We all
I want to
would.
fly. That's like, I would really want to be able to fly. But I'd want to meet Spider-Man. I live in New York. I love Spider-Man.
Spider-Man's great.
If I got to meet, like, Spider-Man Peter Parker, like, know who he was and feel all secretive and stuff, that would be pretty awesome.
Yeah, I the same way. I think I used to live, well, not near the MetLife building, but at a place where I had a pretty good view of it. And the MetLife building in the MCU is where Avengers Tower is. And every time I walked by my view of the MetLife building, I got really sad. Because I just thought, if this was the MCU, I'd have the perfect view of the Avengers Tower every single day on my way to work.
But it's just the MetLife building.
But it was just the boring old MetLife building, so it made me sad. Who would I want to meet? I don't know. Tony Stark seems like a pretty generous guy.
Yeah.
People who he meets tend to either die or get lots of money. Mm-hmm. I'm willing to take those odds. So.
I also would want probably Captain America. Because he's probably
that'd
really
be
one
like
of the
meeting the president.
But it'd be like one of the biggest icons in America.
Right. Yeah,
so
exactly.
like meeting him would be just like, wow. Because I feel like he doesn't go out on the street all the time. It's hard to find him.
Right. It's not like meeting a celebrity like Tony Stark would be. It's like meeting, like you said, an icon. Mm-hmm. Cool. Like meeting Jesus almost.
I mean, yeah.
Well, I mean, it is cool though. I think meeting Captain America would be closer to meeting like a spiritual leader than it would be like meeting the Dalai Lama more than it is meeting like, Tom Cruise.
He'd probably have like a really huge cult following and like
I don't know about cult, but I think
not cult, but like people who really just support him and like follow what he does.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Toots and the Maytals asks.
That's awesome.
As Spider-Man Homecoming is the first of the Spider-Man reboot films in the MCU, it's vital that it's a critical success. Yet the screenwriters and director for the film haven't produced a film with good reviews. Are you concerned about this? I know I am. And do you think that Marvel/Sony should have gone for critically acclaimed writer/director for such an important film?
No, I mean, Marvel, a lot of the times, I feel like they take actors that aren't very well known. Chris Evans, I mean, before Captain America, he wasn't really well known, and then he kind of fostered him and like created this whole career for him because of Captain America. But no, I don't think so. I know John Watts, his last movie, Cop Car.
Yeah,
it was like it got good reviews.
Yeah, it got. I've seen it. It's a fun movie. Kevin Bacon's great.
There's kids in it, so you know he can deal with kids.
But I mean, Cop Car wasn't just John Watts' last movie. It's also kind of his only movie.
Yeah.
And you mentioned that the Marvel Universe tends to do this with actors, but when you look at Phase 2, they've really done it with directors.
Oh, yeah, like James Gunn.
James Gunn he had movies that had done well before, or had been well received before, but he'd never done a blockbuster or anything. Yeah. Peyton Reed, who was that guy? The guy who directed Yes Man?
Yes, he did.
Right, exactly. The Russo brothers, famously from Community and Arrested Development, they were nobodies. So John Watts directing Spider-Man seems like a choice that it's a very Marvel choice. I'm not worried about that. But the screenwriters, that is a good point. Their most recent movie was the Vacation reboot, which, whether you liked it or not, it was not a Spider-Man type of humor.
Yeah.
I think Marcus and McFeely wrote Spider-Man extremely well in Civil War. But then again, it's Marvel. It's never just one or two people responsible for writing the movie. That script is in safe hands because it's not just... I mean, they may be the screenwriters on it, but it will go through a rigorous revision process. And if they turn in a script that Marvel doesn't like, they're not just going to leave it as is.
Yeah, I totally agree. And also with the whole screenwriters, because I know like Marvel has had better screenwriters in their track history, but this is the third rendition of Spider-Man. So maybe like some writers that they did offer it to didn't really want to take it because it's like the third time people are doing Spider-Man. There's like, I don't know what I'd bring to the table. I feel like it'd be the same thing over and over again. So I feel like it could be also some sort of behind the scenes stuff like that as well.
You think people are maybe afraid to touch the property?
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
That's pure speculation.
Yeah, if it was just Sony doing another Spider-Man reboot, I'd agree with you.
Yeah.
But I think that people are lining up to work with Marvel. And so if they know Marvel's involved, I don't think that'd be as much of an issue.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's an idea that possibly...
Sure, yeah, no, I can see where that might happen. I don't think anybody will be signing on to direct the next, or to direct or write the next Fantastic Four reboot if Fox decides to do it again. But if Marvel gets the rights back, then it becomes an attractive property again. I mean, just if you look at the names, whether it's directors or actors or writers that Marvel has gotten, people want to work with Marvel because Marvel produces high quality and extremely financially successful films.
Yeah.
So I don't necessarily think that's an issue with Spider-Man, but who knows? It could be.
And I'm still not worried because Ant-Man had some fallouts
before
production, and they still made one of my favorite movies of the MCU. So.
Right. Yeah. So worst case scenario, this first draft of the script for Homecoming sucks. They can fix it. Yeah. I see why people are worried, but personally, Marvel has never done anything that makes me worry about this. And Feige has made it pretty clear that they have creative control over this. So if this was Sony doing it, again, I definitely would be worried. But with Marvel at the helm, I'm not too worried at all.
I agree.
Okay. Diego Roman asks, if you could have anyone's superpowers in the MCU, whose powers would you like?
Scarlet Witch for sure.
Yeah?
Yeah. I could just lift things with my hands and read people's minds and do weird crap to their minds. I think that would be amazing. And I would have, they just look so cool. Oh, they're the coolest superpowers out of all the Avengers.
I agree, which is why I wouldn't want them. They're the most flashy, they draw the most attention. And remember, this question is not if you were a superhero in the MCU. This was if you had somebody's superpowers in this world, where there are no superheroes, no super villains. There's no alien invasion that you have to defend from. What would you do with Scarlet Witch's powers?
I mean, it's raining. I would make myself a little umbrella.
Okay,
I don't have to carry umbrellas around.
So you'd have umbrella powers.
Yeah.
Okay, and you'd be a freak that the government would probably take to some bunker somewhere and experiment on for the next few decades.
I'd be pretty secretive about it.
Well, then what's the point of having them? So you're going to hide your powers, and there's no situation in real life where you'd need them.
Then I would become a superhero.
Doing what? Defending what?
I'd probably just, defend people from some robbers and stuff.
You know about all the robberies going on? You teleport to them?
I would get a little police radio.
No, the world does not need actual superheroes, which is why, in the real world, the best powers to have are Hawkeyes.
What?
Okay, hear me out. In Civil War, when Tony asks Clint, aren't you retired? He says he played a round of golf. He played 18. He shot 18. He got 18 holes in one in a row. He can't miss. If I was Hawkeye and I had the power to never miss and I had perfect aim, I would be the world's best golfer. I'd be the world's best pool player. I'd be the world's best darts thrower. The world's best marksman. I would be a multi-athlete. I could make so much money. I would be famous. And most importantly, unlike you, I would just look extremely talented and not like a freak that the government needs to take somewhere and study.
Oh my goodness, I don't like being called a freak right now.
Well, then
no,
don't
but
pick
I can...
shitty powers.
No, they are not shitty
In
powers.
this world, they are. Hawkeye's the best hero in the real world.
No, I don't know. She can fly, too. That's, like, one of my dreams. Like, she can fly. That's awesome. Anyway, I don't know. If you would do all of those sports and, like, never, ever miss, I feel like someone would be like, all right, he's on steroids
No,
or
this is the
something.
real... Oh, they might... Okay, so they check me for steroids,
You're
and they
not
see I'm clean.
But then I think you'd be one of the most suspicious people.
No, because this is the
you
real
would
world,
somehow, like...
and people don't see really talented athletes and think he must have superpowers.
But there's no athlete that just never misses, though.
I'd miss intentionally like once or twice.
Oh, okay.
I'd throw them off my scent.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I see where you're coming from, but I could become a superhero and, like, fly.
I could be a 10-time gold medalist.
It's just, okay, also, like, being able to just not go on the subway sounds awesome. And, like,
yeah,
just,
I wouldn't have to go on a
or,
subway
like,
either, because I'd have my private driver or private jet pick me up, because I'm loaded because of all the financial or the sponsorship deals I get, because I'm the world's best athlete. Granted, lame sports, but still, I'm the world's best athlete at a lot of things.
Well, I mean, you can't just...
I could be a punter for the NFL. That involves aim.
That does involve aim.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, what if, like, I, like, want, like, a glass of water from over there? I can just kind of, like, do it right here, and then, oh, it's here.
Okay, so you have water-getting powers. And
I feel
umbrella
like
powers.
mine would make life so much easier. It would be awesome.
You know what else makes life easier? Having a ridiculous amount of money.
Oh my god.
And fame.
Okay, you know what, maybe I would go for, like, more like Captain America types powers. So then I would, like, could eat as much as I want, be super fit, be super strong, and run really fast.
See, if you could run really fast, now you're thinking like I am. Because I think that the tragic thing about Hawkeye is that he wastes his powers. If he truly does have perfect aim, he should not be a superhero. He should be doing something way cooler. Like I would. Hawkeye, you're wasting your powers.
You're not, you're fine.
With that said, that was our last question that we picked out. Yes, I know, that went quickly without Jeremy here.
Yeah.
We love you, Jeremy. We're just kidding.
Oh, I was still sad, so.
Oh, I'm sad too, but anyway, that's going to do it for us this week. Jump down into the comments now. Post your questions for next week. We want as many as we can. We have lots of questions still for next week, but we don't want to run out. So anything you have, anything that springs to mind, jump into the comments, ask your question, and yeah, I think that'll do it for us. We'll see you next time.
Bye.